And then we can open up this. Alright, so let's bring back up the window now. Jack, if you're still there, let me know. But either way, we'll bounce over here, pull up your deck. Alright, so the commander is Ghired, Mirror of the Wilds, which is the new token maker from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. You can go away, Ad.
But it wants to sell you something.
That's neat. Alright, so your non-token creatures have the ability to tap to make a token that's a copy of target token you control that entered the battlefield this turn. So let's take a look at what we have first. Aegis of the Gods is the thing that gives hexproof. Archangel of Ties, Birds of Paradise. Soul Kindler is the guy that makes token copies of Legends. Drumbeller untaps all of your guys.
Wait, the Soul Kindler makes token copies of Legend. Okay, he stops the Legend rule from applying.
Well, of course he does. It'd be silly.
No, I just wanted to make sure how he got around that. Sometimes
makes a token copy that's an artifact. Fervent Champion. I'm gonna need to see some other stuff, but I feel like Fervent Champion can already go. Grand Abolisher is fine. Gruff Triplets. Guardian of Faith is one of the things that phases out creatures to protect them. Hard Bristle Bandit.
How exactly does Gruff Triplets work again?
Whenever the creature dies, you put a number of 1/1 counters on it.
I meant the first part of it. So if it isn't a token...
yeah, the tokens don't make tokens.
Yeah, but I wondered how it was worded, because he doesn't actually make 2 more tokens when you copy him.
Nope.
Which is what I was wondering.
Jaxus is good. There's Jetmir, who's always popular in these type of builds. Kiki's real good. Cole the Forge Master. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return to owner's hand. Yeah, creature tokens you control that are enchanted or equipped get +1/+1.
I was running him in the equipment deck in the standard. He's decent.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing enough here, though, is the thing. Krenko Mob Boss. Midnight Guard. Oh, right. So the token creatures come in and it untaps it. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Mondrak. Okay, we do have one of those so far. Nesting Dovehawk is the populate creature. Ojer Tak. Rick from Walking Dead.
What does he do?
He gives your humans a bonus, and if you have enough humans... they also get +2/+2, so you get to choose from among First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. You get 2 of those. Beginning of combat on your turn, create X tokens that are copies of another target creature you control, where X is 1 plus the number of instants and sorceries you've cast this turn. They gain haste, exile them at the beginning of the next end step. There's Roxy. Ruby Daring Tracker. Sandstorm Salvager. No, that one makes sense. Seaborn Muse. Sylvan Caryatid. Terror of the Peaks. Village Bellringer, which is another one that can go infinite by making it into a token. Crackle with Power. End Hostilities. Map the Frontier. Molten Duplication. Okay, so we have a few of the things that go infinite right now. Planar Cleansing, Rampant Growth, Shamanic Revelation, Thunderous Debut, Chaos Warp, Fated Retribution, Final Showdown, Born Defenses, Signal the Clan. Search your library for 3 creature cards and reveal them. If they all have different names, choose one of them at random. Be put in your hand and shuffle the rest into your library. Smuggler's Surprise, Storm King's Thunder. Okay, so we don't actually have Tooth and Nail. Champion's Helm is the +2/+2 as long as it's legendary. It has hexproof. Dino DNA. Hammer of Perforos. Lightning Greaves, Lotus Ring. I'm assuming the Lotus Ring is part of some infinite combo because we're untapping things, so we're going to get mana.
It does equip for 3, though.
I mean, if it makes infinite mana at some point in time.
No, I'm just saying it equips for
Thought
3, and you
vessel.
have to sacrifice the creature for 3 mana.
Oh, right. Why am I thinking that it just lets it tap for mana? Maybe that one can go too. Throne of Eldraine, which...
Yeah, I'm thinking the Lotus Ring would just be better as like Ashnod's Altar or Phyrexian Altar, assuming price is not an issue.
Price might be an issue. We'll have to double check. Okay, Annie joins up, copies triggered abilities of legendary creatures you control. Copies triggered abilities. How many of these things were actually triggered? So a copy...
Not a lot of them.
Oh, no, wait. I don't think Osier Talk is a... these things are replacement effects, right? If you would create tokens, you create twice that many instead. So that's a replacement effect. She's a trigger. Roxanne's a trigger. Someone carry Terror of the Peaks are not legendary.
Rick is a trigger, I believe.
No, he's
No, Rick.
no. Hang on.
Walking Dead guy.
Yeah, but I have to find him because it's... Oh, no, he's in alphabetical order. Okay.
Yeah.
Enters the battlefield. Okay, so yeah, that's a trigger from... So you get all 3 abilities if you want them. Kiki's activated.
Mm-hmm.
Jetmir's static. Jaxus is activated. Yeah, a lot of these seem to be activated abilities. Not
Or
triggered
replacement abilities.
Or replacements. He's a triggered ability, so he can be copied. Alright, so good to know. We do have Anointed Procession, and okay, we've got the good ones. We have Anointed Procession, we have Doubling Season, and there's Parallel Lives, okay?
And Virtue of Strength.
That one doesn't double.
Oh, sorry.
That's the one that triples mana, yeah. I mean, it's fine, but it doesn't...
No, I was actually
tokens.
I was thinking of the one that copies other things.
We do have Yield, Smothering Tithe. Our Graveyard Hate is Rest in Peace. We have a Mirror Pool down here to make tokens. Alright, so if we're going infinite by triggering... like, we make a token copy and we untap the thing that has the ability to make token copies of itself.
We are a non-blue Splinter Twin.
Yep. So, the first couple things that I always think of with token decks are... so, we probably want God Pharaoh's Gift.
Alright, that is a colorless artifact.
Yep. God Pharaoh's Gift.
It's the third one, but okay.
There it is. Sorry, I couldn't see it. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie with haste. So this is another way to get back your dead creatures that you wanted and turn them into tokens so that you can make copies of them.
Although the commander only gives non-token creatures the ability to copy themselves, right?
Non-token creatures the ability to copy tokens that you control.
Oh, tokens, okay.
That came into play this turn. So if you need another thing that's going to be a copy of the creature, if you just need to make a token to get the chain started, God Pharaoh's Gift is another way to do that. It's also a way to make token copies of non-token cards in your deck. So that's one of the first ones I always think of. What's the one from Mirrodin? Or Scars of Mirrodin?
I should be able
Mimic
to tell you. Okay. I was going to say, I should be able to tell you this, but I'm not thinking of it either.
Alright, so here's the Mimic Vat. So when a creature dies, you may exile that creature. If you do, each creature card currently exiled with Mimic Vat goes to their owner's graveyards. And so you can keep changing what's underneath it if you need to. And then it has 3 tap, create a token that's a copy of the card currently under Mimic Vat. So it's another God Pharaoh's Gift type effect.
That one's more like the Kiki Jiki. It gains haste exile.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower. I'm sorry, it's a little bit faster, but you have to have it in play when the creature dies in order to grab it. But it also does let you grab your opponent's creatures if that's relevant. If making a token copy of one of theirs would be a big deal. Also, you have what's his name? You have Molten Duplication. I don't remember seeing the other one though. Yeah, it's not in here, so oh, that one's gonna be a lot harder to remember the name of. So we need the red card from Theros. I think it's Journey. Journey or Born. It might be Born of the Gods. Let's try Born of the Gods first.
What is the actual game text on that thing?
It has Strive, and it creates a token copy of target creature, and then you exile that token at end of turn. Lightning Volley, Nyxborn, Pinnacle.
I thought Strive was all Journey into Nyx.
Was it all Journey into Nyx?
I think
okay.
so.
Alright, let's go to Journey then. H-I-J. Journey into Nyx. Blinding Flare, no.
Wait, Strive. You passed a Strive card. Oh, Blinding Flare. Never mind. Never mind.
Haunt, Forgeborn, Harness, Knowledge, Flame Speaker, Riddle. It's around here somewhere, I'm sure.
It's +2/+0.
Twin Flame, there it is. That's what it's called. So this is another version of the Molten Duplication. So if we're looking for extra ways to make token copies of the creatures in order to get this thing set up, this is another way to do that. Also, if you're running both of those, you do have access to the other infinite combo that works with them, which is Dualcaster Mage. I believe it's D-U-A-L.
Yeah, he's the third one down.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, you target one of your other creatures, you flash him in, you copy the spell targeting him, and then that makes another token copy of him with haste, because it's a duplication spell that gives them haste until end of turn. So then the copy comes in, targets the original again, targets the Dualcaster Mage, and lather, rinse, repeat to have infinite attackers. If that's what you're actually looking for, because you can do that with this deck anyway, but it feels like it's not really in the spirit of Ghired. But if you're trying to just make infinite token copies of things, that's infinite token copies of things. So you can decide if that's too off topic for your build or not.
I do still like Hour of Reckoning for a Wrath and a token deck.
That's true. I do think it's better than Fated Retribution, too, because you get to keep the token copies that you have, so yeah, let's pull up Hour of Reckoning real quick. Oops. Oh, right, Hour of Reckoning. It would help if I had the of. Nope, it's mad at me now. I made it sad.
How dare you?
So yeah, originally from Lorwyn, or not Lorwyn, Ravnica. Original Ravnica. So Convoke and destroys all non-token creatures. So it does let your tokens live through it. That you've already gone through the trouble of creating, so...
Usually if you don't make, like, infinite tokens, but you make a lot of tokens, you might just be able to close out a game just by having your opponent suddenly have no board.
Let's see, what else was I thinking while looking at this collection of cards? Ooh, Helm of the Host is always good times. When you try and make tokens... Yeah, sure, let's pull up Helm of the Host. This one's a bit on the expensive side, but you do seem to have a lot of the expensive pieces for this deck, so... I don't think it should be too hard to track down Helm of the Host. So yeah, this one was originally from Dominaria, like original Dominaria. And it just makes token copies of the thing that it's on, except they're non-legendary, so...
Also, the tokens do gain haste, in spite of the fact that they're not sacrificed.
Yep. So it is another way to make more token copies of things. Was there anything else we wanted to make? Also, it's like, you can make more copies of Mondrak or Ojertok, and they're non-legendary, so you just get piles of things.
And then you can use them to make more tokens of the non-legendary ones, yeah. Yeah, that gets out of hand really quick.
What else? Ah, man, we're even dipping into Primal Vigor. That's the one that I always hesitate on because I like to build a lot of token decks. So every once in a while you run into, like, Riss or something.
The one that...
Everybody's doubling season. Or worse, you run into the Planeswalker deck and they just start ultimating things. But it is still very good in your deck, so I understand why you want to run it.
Yeah, I'd say that's one of those you kind of just have to hope you can use it better than the opponent can.
Yeah, it's true. Also, you'll know if your opponent can use it a lot of the time. You'll see a lot of the cards from them, so if they're all in on Planeswalkers or something, you know not to just run it out there if you're not going to win the game on the spot. So.
They're all in on Planeswalkers, if their commander is also one of the token lovers, or gave. He doesn't care if it's tokens or counters, he loves them both.
Yeah, Gave and his infinite combos. What else do we want to look at as far as improvements go? Since we're going over all these things anyway, you have a bunch of the cards that are similar, so I don't know if you want to consider Tooth and Nail. Since it's very similar to Smuggler's Surprise, but it doesn't offer the ability to get lands from your deck relatively early on, so I don't know how much of that is a factor. But this one will just straight up tutor 2 of your creatures directly from your deck into play for 9 mana. So if you're going to go off with any of your 2-card combos, this one will get you whichever creatures you need in order to pull that off. So, which you do seem to have a bunch of ways that you can potentially go infinite with just 2 creatures, if they're the right 2 creatures, so... I'm assuming that's why things like the Smuggler's Surprise are in the deck, but it, again, does not offer you the ability of getting lands early on if that's really what you need, so...
Also, I think Smuggler's Surprise is actually a cheaper Tooth and Nail.
It is because it doesn't let you tutor through your whole deck.
See, I meant cheaper, like, price-wise, but yeah, that too.
Also that. Like I said, we've already got a lot of the more expensive cards that go into token-making decks, so...
I'm curious about the Chaos Warp, though.
It's a popular catch-all that deals with any permanent type. We are in white, red, green, though, so we do have access to other cards that can destroy...
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff in the color combination that can get rid of problems.
I mean, I am a big fan of... Let's see, we have Excise... And Gather is being real upset right now that I'm doing so much. There we go. So this is from one of the March of the Machines commander decks. It exiles any non-land permanent, and they get to incubate X, but it straight up kills anything for 3 mana. So I do like this one. I'm never going to be able to remember the name of it. Since I'm working on Eartha Joe anyway, let's just go find it. Unexplained Absence. So this one is from the Commander Murders at Karlov Manor set. It's 4 mana, and for each player you can exile a non-land permanent that player controls, and then everybody who lost a creature this way cloaks the top card of their deck.
Who lost a creature?
Or lost a permanent, sorry. So it does hit non-land permanents, and it hits 1 for each player if you want to, so... it's basically a Windgrace's Judgment in mono white. Also, since you're running the Phantom Guardian of Faith as a way to protect your creatures, if you want any backup protection from that, there are 2 other cards. Now, obviously, Teferi's Protection, I'm sure you know about that one. The one that people sometimes forget about, though, is Clever Concealment, which is from, I believe, either Dominaria United or March of the Machines. Or not March of the Machines, Phyrexia All will be one. The Clever... I think it's Phyrexia All will be one commander. which has Convoke, and you can phase out any number of non-land permanents you control. Yeah, it's Phyrexial will be one. So it's from the red-white commander deck from that one. Much like the Guardians of the Faith, I really like this one as a backup way to protect all of your tokens if you manage to get your combo off and somebody tries to disrupt it, so that way they can phase back in later.
Also, that will let them dodge the sack at end of turn. They phase out, so
yeah, so they'll come back in at the beginning of your on-tap step, yeah. Yep, sounds good.
So yes, it protects your guys by phasing them out and dodges the sack at end of turn trigger. Although I think that one still goes off at the next end step.
Depends on the wording of the things that make them. If it says at the beginning of the next end step, yeah, you have to wait until the trigger is on the stack then, and then phase them out if that's what you're going to do. Because then they'll have already triggered, and when they... So they won't be there to be sacrificed, and then on the next end step, you won't have to sacrifice.
Like, as an emergency dodge removal, then you
then
still
that
only
doesn't
have
work.
one turn, but...
But you dodged all the removal, and they don't die until the end step when they come back in at the beginning of your turn, so you should still be able to pull it off if nobody else has changed the board state enough to stop you from winning. Oh, the Signal the Clans. So this one gets you one of them at random. It's a Ladmery's Call. Is from Plane Chase originally, or not Plane Chase, Plane Shift. Got reprinted in one of the Modern Horizon sets and M25, so it can be a little hard to track down, but it's just straight up 2 mana instant speed, tutor a creature from your deck to your hand. So, oops, gotta stop clicking on that one and getting like the thing within a thing within a thing.
Fine.
But yeah, that gives you a little more control for basically the same mana on what you're getting, and it is also an instant, so it's not like you're missing out on the instant speed nature of it if you need to tutor a thing end of turn. But yeah, maybe like, I know Rootborn Defenses populates, but maybe one of the other saves all of your creatures from any type of removal. That's what I was thinking when I was looking for the phase out cards, but since it's right there, it made me think of it. But yeah, Signal the Clans is probably better as a Ladmery's Call, because then you guarantee which creature you get for the same, almost the exact same mana cost too. You just swap a white for a red. Is there anything else I can think of off the top of my head?
We haven't really looked over the lands yet. Are there any, like, obvious spell lands that we could be playing?
He's already got the Mirror Pool. So that's, like, the big one because it makes a token copy of another permanent you control.
What about something like Balaged Recovery that can be a forest when you need it, and another Eternal Witness?
I'm not sure how this thing organized. I'm guessing not because it's not under the sorceries either.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it at all.
So, one of the fun things...
It has the benefit of being a land when you need it, and if you don't need a land, then it's a spell.
So yeah, it's one of the modal double-face cards from Battle for Zendikar, or Zendikar Rising? Resurgent?
I forget. It's from something in Zendikar.
It's from the third trip to Zendikar. So yeah, you can play it as a sorcery, as a bad regrowth for like 1 extra mana, but it's also a land if you need it to be, so...
It comes into play tap, but it is nice to have
the
a
versatility
land
on
that
it.
does something when you don't need a land.
Which one is Cactus Preserve again until end of turn, becomes an XX plant creature? That's fine. We have Yield Command Tower, Inspiring Vantage, Jetmir's Garden, Prismatic Vista, Reliquary, Bivouac.
Foundry, Stomping Ground, Temple Garden.
You do have a Wooded Foothills.
Is that the
No
only...
Windswept Heath, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the only fetch land, like proper fetch land? Look for land types.
I mean, we have the Prismatic Vista also, which can get basic lands. It can only get basic lands, but they come into play untapped. So.
Okay. I was looking for the ones like Wooded Foothills where you pay 1 life and can get a land with the land types regardless.
Yeah, there's only Wooded Foothills on the list right now. There's no Arid Mesa or
There's no
Windswept Heath.
Not the one from Capenna either. Wasn't there one? Wasn't there?
No, the Capenna ones can only get basics.
They are only basics?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have the new ones coming out, but they can also only get basics. But they do have cycling, so that's kind of neat. And they tap for colorless mana in the meantime.
Do they get lands untapped, though? Because they might be better than, like, Terramorphic at that point.
No, I'm pretty sure they get them into play tap still. We can double check.
I don't remember their names, though.
They all have the thing, so I just need to remember one of them. So, Riveteers, look out.
Well, he is in
Overlook,
Naya, so you could have had Jetmir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I have to remember that Jetmir's group is called Cabaretti, I think.
Oh, okay.
Search your library for basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle, and you gain 1 life. So yeah, it's about this. So it has about the same function.
It's basically Terramorphic Expanse, but you gain a life.
So yeah, it's about the same.
So
you
yeah,
do have to use it immediately, but most of the time, just to save time, I'm cracking the fetch land anyway. While the opponents are, I like declare what one I'm getting and crack it. And then we get it at the end of the turn. Yeah, I think that's most everything I can think of off the top of my head. I do hope that helps. I notice you haven't been saying anything, so I'm going to assume that you had to dip out, and I hope you came back and saw all of this, because I did want to help you out. Not because, like, I'm fine either way. I have absolutely no problem doing this. I do a lot of deck building on this channel anyway, so I'm more than happy to help anybody who wants it. So I'm more hoping that you got to see it because I hope this helps you out more than it's like, I really hope you got to see this, because otherwise it's going to be a huge waste of my time. It's okay. My time is worthless.
Right. So anyway, at the very least, if he didn't see this live, it will be on the VOD.
Yep.
So just skip towards the end and go watch this part. Or watch the whole thing over again. It was a pretty fun draft.
It was a fun draft. Alright, but I think that's going to do it for me for right now. So we're going to throw a raid over to Octo since I see he's live and streaming. And he's playing Wuthering Waves. Is that the name of it?
That's how I assume it's pronounced. He's playing the new gacha game that's not Genshin.
and all of the bots will tell you how not Genshin it is. Alright, well, that's going to do it for me, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.